Let's see if this is even working. It is. Half the time when I reboot the stream PC, the microphone doesn't work. Oh, it's an all AMD build. Hell yeah. Welcome back to the Build Show. I am your host over here at the Empower Gaming Computer Studio. Building, you guessed it, another PC. Tonight we're going to be building Sang's PC, which is build number 77 for 2025. And yes, it is an all AMD build. Welcome back to the Build Show, Flash, Chief. Or I'm sorry, Chief. I said Chief. You guys have no idea the day that I've had so far. Chef, over on the Twitch, thank you for joining us, and welcome back to the Build Show, Steve Anderson. Welcome back to the Build Show, Mike Thompson, as well. Welcome back to the Build. Yes. Sang, I'm here. So excited. Welcome back to the Build Show. This is your build. Sang, for everybody's awareness, is over in the YouTube chat. If you wanted to chat with him, he's over there watching. Borner, Joker, welcome back to the Build Show. If you're going to use an air cooler with that CPU, that would be the one to use. That is the one and only. No. It's the NHD15. You can't go wrong with it. Although I think a Thermalright Peerless Assassin would do the job as well. But if you haven't caught the theme here, Sang wanted to do an all Noctua fan build. No RGB other than what's on the parts. Ben is building a hot rod PC. Tonight we build Sang's. And as a bonus, this stream is going to go late again. We had somebody put an order in who is military, and he's going to be out for training, I think, upcoming here. So he asked me, I told him when he submitted or when he was going to submit his order last night, I was like, look, I probably won't get it done and shipped until the 14th because I'm taking off and we're short-handed here, which means it probably won't ship until the 14th when I get back. So he was like, hey, is there any way we could do it any quicker? Because I actually go out for training, I think while I'm out. I think it was the 10th. I can't remember exactly when he said it was going to be. But that being said, I am doing another PC on top of this build tonight. So we're doing two builds tonight, two PCs, Sang's build and the other one, which I don't know if I printed off that build sheet yet. I don't think I did, but it's okay. I could deal with that in a minute later when we get to it. So when I thought I was only going to be doing one build tonight, now I'm doing two, and I have to have it shipped by tomorrow. So hopefully UPS still picks up tomorrow, because if not, then it's not getting shipped until the 14th. So woof. It's going to be a long night again. So grab your snacks, your drinks. Friday night. It's going to be the last builds that I do for the next 2 weeks. Sit around and enjoy the creativity. Let's get ready to build. Let's get me out of the way. Now let's go through and talk about the components, the build out tonight for Mr. Sang. All right, so as you can see, we're doing mostly a Noctua build here. Starting off with the CPU, it is a Ryzen 7 9800X 3D. So this is probably one of the best gaming CPUs on the market today. Still leading the way. We are going to be putting this on a Aorus Elite Wi-Fi B850 by Gigabyte. We have used these boards in the past. They're excellent boards. In addition to that, we're pairing it with 64 gigs of DDR5 6000 megahertz by G.Skill, which is your Trident Z5 Neo RGB kit. It's 6000 megahertz CL30, so a lot better timing. And actually, that reminds me, we're going to pause really quick here on this build. The build that we did finished yesterday, the one that we had a lot of RAM issues with, we ended up swapping the RAM. We ended up having to swap the RAM out. So we ended up going with a Triton Z5 Neo RGB. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's the same exact kit for his Asus motherboard and the 9950X 3D combo. I think that's what it was. But he ended up picking the PC up, and he went to Micro Center, grabbed the new RAM, brought it to me, and we put it in, and it seemed to have solved all the problems, because it continued even after the BIOS update while I was doing Windows installs and updates and all that stuff. Problems continued, so I just made the recommendation, hey, let's just swap the RAM. I don't want to deal with this RAM causing you problems all the time. So he ended up doing that, and that solved the problem. And now he's a happy camper. Hopefully he's already got Call of Duty downloaded, because I think that's what he was going to be playing on it, and he's enjoying it now. Anyway, next we have a 9100 Pro, which is a PCIe Gen 5 SSD. This is a 2 terabyte monster. It's got 1400 megabits on the read, and I think the write is right around the same speed. We're going to be cooling the CPU, as you already saw, with the Noctua NHD15 Chromax Black. It's a beautiful cooler. It's going to be all black. It's going to be air-cooled. It's going to be a nice build. Next, the graphics card is the Nitro Plus by Sapphire. This is the 9070 XT by AMD Radeon. We're going to be powering the system with a MSI Mag A1000G PCIe 5.0 ready power supply. And the fans that we're putting in here are the Noctua NF A12s and 14s. We have a mixture of them. I believe we're doing 2 of the 14s on the front, and then I think 3 of the 120s on the top. And we might rotate the front one to intake. I don't know yet. I'm going to have to look at it, because I haven't talked about the case yet. And then we also have our contact frame by Thermalright, of course. And we also have some extensions slash splitters for the fans, because I think we don't have enough headers for all the fans. I also have a hub over there that we might end up using in the event that we do need it. Anyway, bonus stream. Yes. Wow, that looks like amazing build you're doing, the 9070 XT. Oh yes, the Nitro Plus is one of the best. Jeff, without the eye. Yeah, I know. I don't know why. I don't know why I defaulted to, hey, let's call you a chef or a chief. Let's see here. How's it going, Ben Flash? I'm doing pretty good. Welcome back to the Build Show, if I haven't said it already. Porkishler, welcome back to the Build Show. Yes, those are the accurate specs, because I know sometimes I don't have it updated. Ben is building a hot rod PC. Good evening, Austin. Welcome back to the Build Show. Aaron T, that will be an awesome build. Yes, sir. It's going to be an awesome one. Excellent parts. Yes, all excellent parts. Oh, I haven't talked about the case. We are building in the Antec Flux Pro. If you're not familiar with that case, it is a full tower, a nice sized case, but it's a very, very nice airflow case. So, I do highly recommend the case. I built with it once before, not too long ago, not on stream, and it was very nice to build in. So, we're going to enjoy putting this one together. This air-cooled Noctua Beast. We call it the Noctua Beast? The Noctua Beast? I'm just kidding. I'm trading a Oculus Quest 2 for an ASRock Challenger Pro 6750 XT, along with $100 for my GPU that I'm using. I think it's a fair deal, but what do I know? Let's see here. Quest 2. Oculus Quest 2. With $100. So are you giving him $100? Or is he giving you the 6750 XT plus the $100 or your GPU? Love the specs, thank you. Yeah, Sang and I went back and forth choosing all these specs, so we did spend some time. We did have to wait quite a bit of time for these Noctua fans to show up. We did have to wait for the Sapphire Nitro Plus to show up. Everything else was pretty easy to get, I think, if I remember correctly, for the most part. A lot of this he did actually just go to Micro Center and he purchased himself, so it is one of those, he bought the parts, I'm just doing the build scenarios. Yeah, I don't know anything about VR parts. I'm not that familiar with the Oculus Quest 2 and its current worth, I guess. I don't know what it's worth right now. I do know a 6750 XT is probably worth, what? Like 200 bucks right now? I want to say 200, 250. I'm listening to the stream, but you won't be able to watch, because I'm a local truck driver and you're probably driving. Yeah, don't get yourself into trouble or into an accident. Stay safe. You can always watch it later. I would say I'll do the deal for a straight swap. I wouldn't give him money on top. If he wants, he'll do it. Google said 100 to 150. That's it. Okay, that's better. All right. So, if it's 100 to 150 for the Oculus Quest 2 right now, used, and your 6750 XT is worth like 200, 250 bucks, I guess that would be a fair deal, right? But I wouldn't put any money on top of it. I don't know what GPU you have. All right, let's get started, guys. Got another 2 builds to do tonight. Let's get through the first one. I feel like this build should be pretty easy. You know, Sang, did we have a second SSD in this build? Or was it just the 9100 Pro? Was it just this one, or did we have a second SSD? He gave me the choice of 100 or my EVGA 1080 for the win. I mean, the 1080 is probably worth about 100 bucks. That card is at the end of its life. Just give him the GPU. That would be a pretty good deal for you. Well, he's trading the Oculus Quest 2 for the 6750 XT along with 100 bucks or his GPU. So it'd be the Oculus Quest 2, his GPU for the 67 XT. So Oculus Quest 2 plus the 1080, GTX 1080 for the 6750 XT, or the Oculus Quest 2 and $100 for the 6750 XT. It was the team group? Okay. I just wanted to make sure we had the second drive. We do have the 2 drives here, so a 2TB 9100 Pro and then the 2TB MP44. I just didn't list it earlier, and then I was like, wait a second, I thought there was 2. Yeah, so hardware for hardware, no cash, that's usually a pretty good deal. I'd say so too. Okay, so we're going to install the 2 drives, the CPU, the contact frame, the RAM. We don't need these fans yet. We're going to deal with these later. Buttload of fans. We load of fins. Get this motherboard out. Get started. Hardware for hardware, no cash. That sounds probably good to me. That's what I would do too. Well, that's good. At least he seems chill. And saying, did you want me to save all of these boxes, or do you not care about the boxes? Probably a question I should ask. Zim zimmity, zim zim, zim zim. Hey, what's up, Onra? Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. You're gonna catch the last stream before I'm out for like 14 days. I'll be gone. Sitting on a beach. Sipping water. Hey, homie, I can share your stream in a Kick community to help you hit 1,000 followers. Whoa, this guy's making big promises. I bet he makes dreams come true. Oh, he wants me to chat in Discord too. Yeah. I feel like you're gonna crush my dreams, Alice. Although those were crushed a long time ago. Yes, save the boxes. Got it. All right, I won't crush them. I'll save them. It will be better if you just buy a PC instead of offering viewers, right? Get some builds lined up for when I come back. Have a build stream marathon. So that 9070 XT will do 1440p 4K. Should be really happy. I am. Did you hear that saying? That's Steve Anderson's talking about his. Mate, I came across your channel and love your content. But I can see you're struggling to get views on your live streaming over on Kick. Kick's always dead. Which I can help you with. This is a second one, guys. This is no joke. This is a second one in a row. I can get you 1,000 followers in 3 days. Literally like copy and pasted, basically. What am I doing? I'm reading the chat, not paying attention to what I'm doing, and I just put the thermal paste inside the SSD. No, I'm just kidding. Didn't. All right, contact frame time. Contact frame time. Time frame. Contact. Onra stood on business with that one. Yeah. Apparently, we made the right choice on the 9070 XT. do. Do do do. Do 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 do. All right, next up is our RAM. We got 64 gigabytes of DDR5 6000 megahertz CL30 Trident Z5 Neo RGB by G.Skill. Going in. Slots A2, B2, Cat, Daddy, Roy. Once I get rid of this 9070 XT one day, there will be no more AMD products in my house. Burn them all. Thank you, some giant idiot. Ah, crap. Don't worry, it was just the sticker. Not the RAM. RAM is safely in their package. 20% performance boost with that RGB. Oh, yeah. But we're using Noctua fans in this build. The only RGB is probably going to be on the card and the RAM. Come on. Okay, next up is our Samsung 9100 Pro, which is a Gen 5 SSD. Going in, 2 terabytes. Then we have an additional Team Group MP44 2 terabyte SSD that's getting added on to the build as well. You'll have plenty of storage as well as plenty of speed. Waiting for things to load, it'll be a thing of the past. At least for the short time. 9100 Pro going in. And then also we have our 2 terabyte MP44. I already pulled it out of the package because I was reading the chat. Didn't know what I was doing. Also going in. All right, next up is our mounting brackets for our CPU cooler, which is the Noctua NHD15 Chroma Max in black. Absolutely love the dark build, and my OCD is very satisfied with the symmetry of the parts. Sang did most of the work. I just guided him through it. So he's the one that decided he wanted to do all the Noctua fans. I think we originally were going to do Be Quiet. In fact, we still have the Be Quiet fans here. And he's going to return. But we were going to do the Silent Wings 4. And he ended up changing his mind and wanting to go all Noctua because of the Noctua cooler. So I thought that was pretty cool. I respect it. Trying to stay all the same. And then we had to patiently wait until all the fans were here, which they arrived literally today. I was like, of course. The day before I lose my mind going on vacation is when they're going to show up. Which means I'm doing another build. But it's okay. This is literally the last day I'm doing builds. There's no more builds after this for a while. Maybe if I have enough drinks while I'm up north on vacation, camping, and you guys talk me into it, I might go live. IRL. Ben's been drinking stream. Some AMD parts. Looks like these are AMD brackets. I better read the instructions because I don't do very many of these and I forget. I think the last one I did was Intel also. Aha. We're gonna leave that up for reference. We are going to use the Noctua thermal paste that came with the cooler. I think you get more for your money with Noctua. Yeah, in my opinion, I think they're both great brands, but Noctua's just got more of that sentimental value slash. The brand's been around for a long time, so there's more knowledge around the brand, or more people that know about it. Be Quiet's been around for a while too, but I think Noctua's been around longer, and Noctua has been established as probably the best fans since they've started. So can't really go wrong with a company that stands behind their product like Noctua does. Not saying Be Quiet is bad. They're definitely good about their product support as well. But for example, Noctua held out with the poop brown color for so long, and then finally they gave in and gave people black Noctua fans. People used to buy the Noctua fans and then paint them. That's how how badly they wanted Noctua. And even to this day, Noctua fans are hard to get. This has an offset, it looks like. I didn't know that this cooler actually gave you an offset. You have the option to not offset. And you know we're doing the offset. Let's see here. Aim 5, Ryzen 5, you're not aim point, please do 7 mil offset. Hopefully. 7 millimeter. A 7 millimeter offset. I called it, says it in the instructions. It's an offset. Nice. Those. All right. We paste it up and slap it on there. All knocked to a nice theme build, yeah. Definitely is. Crap. Not really a line, it's like a bunch of little dots, but it works. All right, we've already taken it off. What do you mean you guess? That's why you like Intel. You just plug it in and it works. What is that supposed to mean? What are you two talking about over there? I just did a build with a Thermalright Assassin 120, but replaced the fans with the NFA 12 25 G2, and it's pretty awesome. Great performance at half the price. There you go. Yeah, the Thermalright Assassin 120. The Peerless Assassin or just the Assassin X120? Now let's see how we're gonna fit this fan. These are kind of a pain if you don't know about them, but they go underneath this lip and then up and into the holes. They can be a pain if you don't know how to put them on, but they go underneath this lip and then into the holes. I feel like we're gonna have to use the CPU optional CPU fan header. I'm gonna put this little extender on it. Just so I'm not yelling at myself later. Okay, I think that's all of them we're doing. Okay, I think we're ready for a case. What do you guys think? Time to get the beast out? The short is the short extender the quiet extension? It might be. Yeah, that one is actually the low noise. Let's do this then. Let's just put a regular one on there. Good call. Got those. Stupid low noise crap. Alright, so we'll just put these on instead. These are just my regular extenders. One that we actually tried to use yesterday. Couldn't use. The RGB fans were like, not enough power, my liege. The machine is a beast. It is. Oh, did I like bump the crap out of this fan or this camera or what? Holy smokes. Whatever. Alright. Two. I need you. And you know, I was just trying to make sure somebody was paying attention on the extensions. Invincible. Yes, it's invisible. Can't you see it? Our Flux Pro accessories includes all sorts of cool stuff, including a very large block of foam with an accessories bin and a bunch of different panels, power supply things, mesh panels, the manual, all really cool stuff here. You also have a wood walnut piece of wood here. I don't know what this is for. Walnut sapwood is creamy white and is heartwood ranges from light brown to dark chocolate with occasional purple and darker streaks. So there's wood on the case. Get a little walnut wood sample. But we don't need any of that right now. Need that hardware. My workout in today. This is the Antec Flux Pro. Oh. You like how I just left it to your guys' imagination after I talked about that wood? All right. Some beautiful walnut wood frame around the front. Very sleek. I actually like it. Oh. 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 I always forget how big the case is. It's very misleading. You look at it at first and it looks like a regular ATX mid tower, and then you start handling it and you're like, this is definitely not just a mid tower. But it's a pretty nice tempered glass panel. Slight tint to it. Which includes 1, 2, 3. We should have put. There are 140s, 3 of them. Do we have 3 140s here? Yep. I can't remember. Do you remember if we were planning to do 3 140s saying, hey, Klee, what's up? Welcome back to the Build Show, or welcome to Joe. Welcome back to the build show. Could be for testing and cleaning supplies to prevent damage. Big case. It's a very large case. Saying, do you remember where we are putting all these fans? Because for the life of me, I am drawing a blank. I feel like we decided to put the 140s in the front, and then we were doing 3 120s on the top, 2 120s on the bottom, 1 120 on the rear. Looks like we could have done 140s almost all around. Oh, that's cool. I'm probably going to knock that out a couple times. We got 1 140, 2 140s, 120, 120, 120, 120, 120, 120. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 120s and 2 140s. I can't remember what our plan was. Who are you building this for? We're building this for Sang. He's in the chat. He's watching with us. And welcome to the build show. Sultan, here to learn about PC building. Well, this is a Noctua build in an Antec case and an AMD Ryzen 7 9800X 3D with 64 gigs of RAM and 2 2TB SSDs, one being a PCIe 5.0 Gen 5 drive, which is a Samsung 9100 Pro, and then we have an MP44 by Team Group, 2TB. RAM's by G.Skill. It's a Trident Z5 Neo RGB. The motherboard is a B850 Aurorus Elite Wi-Fi 7 board, and the case is by Antec. It's a Flex Pro. We also have an MSI 1000 watt 80 plus gold power supply, and the graphics card is going to be an RX 9070 XT. The cooler we're cooling the CPU with is a Noctua NHD15. So it is a very much so air cooled heavy build. I've heard about Noctua, was planning on getting one for my 9700X. Noctua is some of the best, so you cannot go wrong. The downside with Noctua is if you're into the pretty RGB light effects, Noctua doesn't really offer that. But they offer performance and quality. So these fans will probably last longer than the lifetime of the PC itself. Just to give you an example. So these are probably 10 plus year fans without issues. Spinning every day, 24/7. They just keep going and going and going. Kind of like that Energizer Bunny commercial from 10 years ago. Nobody really cares about Energizer batteries anymore because everything's USB charged with its own lithium battery. You pulled a back muscle watching me lift the beast? Yeah. So did I. Noctua has over 200 awards. They're known for quality, and that's, if you want quality, you'll get quality through Noctua. And they stand behind their products, which is nice. And they've been doing it for a long time. Would you recommend AIOs for CPU cooling? Yes, yes, there are many great AIOs. Thermalright, which is, if you look, a cheaper brand because they manufacture all of their own components in their own facilities, on their own grounds, using their own tools. They can produce a much cheaper product than, say, other competitors out there. But Thermalright makes a really good cooler. Next best for AMD would be your Arctic Liquid Freezer 3. When it comes to the price point and performance, Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 is probably the best overall. But in my opinion, with the offset mounting, I think that's a great cooler. So if you want like the best, Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 Pro would be one of the better coolers out there for AMD liquid coolers. It does have the RGB options as well. Thermalright also has RGB options. if you're looking for more of a budget-friendly AIO that is trustworthy, the Thermalright Frozen Note would be the option I would select. If there's a socket change, they will also send you the hardware you need for free. Like I said, they stand behind their product. I've ran into that before for a customer, and I contacted Noctua, and next thing you know, they were sending me a bracket. I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. MSI and ASUS AIOs offer 5-year warranties. They are pretty good. Yes, they are pretty good, but they are the more expensive options. So if you're looking for the fancy flare RGB, definitely take a look at some of the ASUS and MSI options. They're good. MSI, although I will say this, because I've gotten burned by these, MSI did have a recall a couple years ago on their AIOs, which sucked for me being a system integrator builder. I had to deal with that, and I had to replace a bunch of AIOs that I used because I used to use a ton of MSI coolers. That's why you don't see me use a ton of MSI coolers anymore. You get burned by it, and you're like, nah, don't want to go through that again. What does a blue line in the middle of a monitor mean? Ant-Man, that means you could possibly have a dead pixel somewhere that has now leaked. So it is a monitor issue generally, but it could also be an HDMI cable connection problem as well. So maybe unplug the HDMI cable, plug it back in, and see what that does. If that doesn't help, shut the monitor off, turn it back on, see if the blue line comes back. If it does, then you probably definitely have some sort of dead pixel somewhere on the monitor. Or it's a power, what are those called? Power inverters inside the monitor that could be going bad, faulty. The dead area on the screen. Would you recommend the Gigabyte X870 Aurorus Elite Wi-Fi 7? Yes, we actually just built with that board yesterday. So if you want to see a build with that board, go back and look at yesterday's stream, build stream, and we built with that one. I think it was yesterday. It was either yesterday or Wednesday. I can't remember now, but I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. But yes, I highly recommend that. Just make sure one thing you want to do when you're selecting your motherboard and your CPU, which you have a 9000 series CPU and a 800 series motherboard. Make sure you go to the motherboard manufacturer's website, go to the memory support list when you're checking, looking for your memory, and make sure the memory kit that you're looking at is on that support list, or choose a memory kit from that support list. Because it'll show you all the RAM that's been tested and verified to work on that motherboard. It's the best thing you could do to save yourself headaches later of returning RAM and buying different RAM. Hey Xeon, welcome back to the Build Show. Sorry. Hey, so you know how I was looking at building a PC? Uh-oh. Oh boy. Here we go. What's up, Xeon? Hit me with it. Onrad, the only thing that we don't recommend from Gigabyte are the PSUs. Yeah, don't buy a Gigabyte power supply. Whatever you do, don't do that. I bought the parts now. Oh boy. Here we go. Are we gonna have like a build off? You know, you build one while I'm building one and see who builds it faster? I'll just go buy all the same parts. I'm just kidding. I'll try a different HDMI cable. Yeah, give that a shot, Ant-Man. See if that changes anything. But I have a pretty sneaky suspicion that's not going to change it. Onra, you said Gigabyte makes bad PSUs. Which brand do you recommend? So some of the best brands of PSUs going to be Seasonic. That's going to be your #1 brand, in my opinion. Outside of that, you've got MSI, which is okay. I'd say lower on the totem pole. So we'll go Seasonic, Corsair. Let's see. Even though I'm not a big fan of Corsair products, NZXT is a good product for power supplies. So I think they're overly expensive. Thermaltake has some pretty decent stuff, but probably lower on the totem pole. But they do offer 10-year warranty, so they do back their products for quite a while. So, what else? Segitep's not a bad brand if you're looking for more of a budget-friendly brand. Trustworthy power supply. Segitep's okay. Then you have Inland/Power Spec, which is a Micro Center brand. Those are actually pretty good, other than I've had some quality issues with some of their connectors, but they're really good about returns and getting replacements, etc. So I've never had a complaint about that, other than the fact that, you know, some of their quality control on their connectors aren't that great, but, or they're not perfect, at least. I've ran into a couple of them. But, yeah, power spec's okay. The power supply itself is good. It's just the cables and the connectors for some reason. So every once in a while you come across one that's just not fully set, and then you go to plug it in and it breaks the plastic that's holding it in. And then you gotta just get a new cable at that point because you don't trust the cable staying put. So, but anyway, Seasonic's the best. I'd say probably the top. Lian Li Edge Platinum. Oh yeah, Lian Li makes a good power supply too, but I see the Lian Li Edge as more of a use case power supply, meaning I would probably only use that power supply in a 011 Dynamic Evo case. I don't want to put that power supply in an ATX mid tower that's kind of like this one, the Flux Pro. I don't think that's the right style power supply for this case. You really like the Corsair RMX PSUs? Corsair's pretty good. Yeah, probably higher up there on the totem pole. NZXT as well, but again, I think NZXT is a little bit more expensive. And what else? Who else am I missing, guys? What other brands, power supply brands am I missing out there? Blue Line still there. It's probably in the monitor. It's probably the monitor. I'm sorry, Ant-Man. Perfect. I'm building a PC with the 9700X RTX 5080, 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM, a 2TB SSD, Gigabyte C500 Stealth. I'm guessing that's Stealth Ice Case. Okay. And then I haven't bought yet, but looking to get different ones if anyone could recommend. The power supply, I'm assuming? Oh, you haven't bought any of those yet. Okay. Well, the Ryzen 7 9700X is a good option. The 5080 is a good option. A B850 or an X870 would be a decent motherboard for that. 32 gigs of RAM is pretty fair right now. But if you can squeeze 64, that'll future-proof the system without having to replace the RAM later down the road. Depending on what you do on the system. If all you're doing is gaming, 32 gigs is probably fine for now. It'll at least get you a couple years, and then before you have to upgrade the RAM. You need at least 850. Yeah, 850 watts would be the bare minimum, I think, for that build. So, and if you want some wiggle room for a future upgrade on the graphics card, like maybe later down the road you see yourself buying a 5090, definitely get the 1000 watts so that's ready to go versus, you know, if you spend the few dollars now, you don't have to spend more dollars later to upgrade the power supply if you upgrade later on the upgrade the GPU later. Ah, crap. See what I mean? This thing moves. Lian Li is also good. Yeah, Lian Li's good. Be quiet. Thank you. I knew I was forgetting another brand. Thank you, some giant idiot, for mentioning that. Be Quiet is also a pretty good power supply brand as well. They also have some pretty good AIOs and pretty good cases and pretty good fans. Also only need 750. Wait, I am getting a dual chamber case. Also, I only really need a 750 watt, but I got the 1000 watt just for the extra juice. Deepcool. Wait, you can't get that in the US. No, you cannot get the Deepcool in the US anymore. Though, if you shop on Amazon, you'll find Deepcool products branded as a different brand. Some of their models are actually the same too, which is funny. Seems like I'm running unsupported RAM on my Gigabyte board. Running stable, thankfully. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's the advice I give people when they are starting out their build. Hey, take a look at the QVL list and work off of that. It's the best advice I can give you for starting out on a build. I assume getting 2 sticks, 32 gigs RAM is better than 4. Yes, DDR5 does not like to run 4 sticks, so you want to stick with 2 sticks. Don't run 4. It's not worth the headache. There are some kits that work, but there are also some kits that are supposed to work that give you headaches. So stick with 2 sticks. And I usually advise people just stick with the 2 sticks, and if you replace the 32 to upgrade to 64, you would just replace the 32 for a 64 gig stick or a 64 gig kit. You used Parts Picker? Parts Picker usually is pretty good about it. Cooler Master for the SFX power supplies. I have not used a Cooler Master power supply in a long time. It's probably been over 5 years now. I don't know. I just don't see them anymore. They just don't. They escaped my mind. But yeah, Cooler Master does make power supplies, and I just haven't seen them in a while. What happens if you plug in a 5090 to a 450 watt power supply? Ant-Man, it would probably boot. It would post display, but as soon as you try to do anything taxing on the 5090, your 5090 will either shut off or limit how much power it can draw, or your power supply just might pop and say good night. And it would, yeah, your power supply would just give up, shut off. EVGA, it's another one. I don't buy EVGA because I'm convinced EVGA is going under. So if I invest in a product where a company is not going to be there anymore, doesn't sound like a fun time. If I have to send it back to them. I like cooler, let's see here. I checked the RAM compatibility. Nice. That's good. Good. I'm glad you did that, Xeon. All right. We've been chatting for a bit. We're already an hour into the stream. We got to get this build done because I got 2 builds to do tonight, guys. I know it's Friday night, but I'm tired. I only had like 4 hours of sleep last night as we were building. And again, I still don't recall what we planned to do with all these fans. So let's map this out so I know what the hell I'm doing. I feel like we're missing a 140. I feel like we were going to do 3 140s on the front. 2 120s on the bottom, a 120 in the rear, and then 3 120s on the top. I feel like we're missing a fan. Thane, can you confirm what we plan to do? I'm just going to remove this because I keep bumping it. But then again, that's going to remove the cover, the screen. Get out of here. Oh. Oh. While we're working on the case, I like to pull these pieces off so I don't bump them and damage them, scratch the wood, etc. I'll be flipping the case around quite a few times. Nice. I actually forgot this came with a hub. That is actually super cool. So we're unplugging all of these fans because we're taking them all out. I feel like we messed up somewhere on the fan count. Or these 120s. These have to be 140s. Kind of like buying Iran stock. Did you already say NZXT? Yes, Intel. Intel for the win. Roy. Pat. Yes. I said NZXT already. And I said they were decent. Threw up a little bit in my mouth when I said that, but I did. How was this supposed to come out? Ah. All right, so while we deal with this front fan thing, move that out of the way. These are 3 140s. I only have 2. Why did that happen? No, it's a 120. I was gonna say I have this, but it's a 120. Let's think about this. So instead, maybe we do 3 120s on the front. I'd prefer more fan on the front. And then we do the 2 140s on the top. Yeah, that's what we'll do. 140s on the top. 3 120s on the front, 2 120s on the bottom, 1 120 in the rear. That is what we'll do. It has been decided. Yes. I'm pretty sure it can fit 3 140s on the top, but it can't. I think it only can fit a 360 millimeter AIO. At least that's what I was reading online. Maybe I'm wrong. These are noise dampers. Little rubber squares that go on the backside. Dampens the noise level. There's our all black suited. We have to do this for each fan, guys. Wait a minute. Yeah, 5090 isn't worth it in my opinion. Yeah, 5070 Ti or 5080 for sure. Yeah, I agree. My wife gave me a limit on the GPU when I watching 5090 videos. She said no. I assume that's what it sounded like. Still playing off stuff from my most recent build. Won't likely start another for a while. I hear ya. Yeah, in my area, they're like 2,800 and up. Oh yeah, that's about the price over here too. You're getting a RTX 5090, you better be into AI deep because that card is spendy. Make that thing earn it. There you go, make it earn its keep. All right, 5090. I'll buy you, but you gotta earn your way. Always break this box. Dagnabbit. This is called the Noctua experience. So saying, I don't know if you wanted the all black ones, but I'm pretty sure that's what you said. That is what I'm rolling with. Hopefully you're okay with it. We're going with the all black look. One more for the front. Hey, that time I didn't rip the box open like a Hulk. You gotta give them a spin, right? What about Warzone? Any advantages? Minesweeper at 8K? Yeah, you could definitely handle Minesweeper 8K on pretty much any card. You're just playing Cyberpunk 2077 or 2077 and heavy ray tracing gamers. What am I playing for the 5080? The 5080 will do good for you. 1440p Cyberpunk 2077 would be pretty good. Maybe some 4K with some ray tracing. Yeah, that could be an argument, Joker. That could be. I just ordered a Gigabyte RTX 5060 Ti, 16 gigabyte. The internet will shame you if it's not. Okay. Let's bring the case back in and remount our fans. Hi there. Actually, gonna get this up one. If it lets me. Holy crap. With the peen. All right, we're doing good. So I think bottom ones should be pretty easy because we just gotta crap, one of these trays. Never mind. So that's what those mesh panels were, just an FYI. If you removed these fans, you could put the mesh trays back and replace the fans with the mesh tray for awareness. We might reposition the two. You know, I like them. I like them being more centered. But we won't have reverse blades, so we do have to turn around our damper pad to the other side, since these are going to be intake versus exhaust. And these are also going to be 120s. The bottom only supports 120s, but you could put up to 3 of them down there. I must have mathed wrong. Or we were going to do 140s at the top. I don't know what I did. or what I was thinking that day. Obviously, was not thinking enough. I think 140s on the front would have been nice. 140 in the rear would have been nice. But I mean, these fans are going to move enough air, it's not going to make that big of a difference. Noctua doesn't make any reverse blades, do they? I don't think they do. Does anybody know if Noctua makes reversed blade fans? Sadly, no. I didn't think so. I was pretty sure they didn't. Would be pretty cool if they did, though. Maybe they're saving that for a rainy day when sales start dropping, and they're like, alright, let's bring in the reversed blades. That'll get them buying again. It's kind of what they did with the poop brown color when they got rid of that. They're like, alright, sales are dipping, let's release the black version. Somebody over at the Noctua marketing department's like, oh crap, how did he know? How did he know we do that? Okay, these dampening pads better be worth it. I know they work. Dampens the vibrations, creates less noise. Good night. Uno momento. Hey, what's up, typical viewer? Welcome back to the Build Show. You have to adjust your settings for games with ray tracing, mostly. What? I don't know what we're talking about there. Sorry, guys, I've been heads down trying to focus on these hideous little fan things. Okay, guys, 3 more fans to go. Holy smokes. Oh, the rear and the top 2. How's it going? Working on the build. Let's go. You can do it? Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm not going to want to do a Noctua build for a while, guys. I'm not going to lie. Just saying. Ah, crap. I would say you can't play any game. I would say certain games, this is Joker saying this, you might be better to go down to a lower resolution using DLSS quality. What game are we talking about here, guys? Bro, I got a Razer Death Hater ergonomic, and that mic is good. Death Hatter. Death Hatter ergonomic. It's a budget. It is budget as well. Picked it up for 15 bucks. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think the Razer mics are usually pretty good. Personally, never used one, but seen a lot of people use them. Okay. Just talking about the 8 gigs versus 16. Gotcha. Yeah, 8 gigs is good enough for 1080p, some 1440p games, depends on the title. But and it's still usable. It's not that it's not usable. It really comes down to the card when it comes to the 8 gigs. What card is backing that 8 gig? I had a question. What's up? Typical viewer, did I miss it? Both a RTX 5060 8 gig and an RTX 5060 Ti both are nice at gaming, and yes, the Ti is a little better both after overclock and have 515.3 gigabytes per second of bandwidth, which is because of the GDDR7. Yeah, that does make a difference. The GDDR7 will add a little bit of difference there. All right, so this is where we're at. We got our Chromex fans installed on the front, bottom, and rear. Now all we got to do is get 2 more fans installed on the top. We're done playing with fans on this build. We'll go again, because why not? No dampers. Darn. 140s don't get the damper.
Oh, no damper for you.
You are no damper. Super hyped to get that GPU. Hell yeah. It's always like Christmas when parts are coming. It's like, yay! And then it gets here and then you're like, dang, and I have to build it. Okay. Put them in. Move on with the build. Alright, so I'm definitely going to put one as exhaust on the back corner. That is for sure going to happen. Nice. At least the cable caught itself. Nice. Nice. Even more nice. Nice. And then do we flip the next one over and make it intake in front of the cooler? Yeah? Back one exhaust, front one intake. What do you guys think? Intake in the front, maybe slide it over a little bit. Thoughts? Exhaust intake on the top. Top intake? Oh yes, some giant idiot. But remember, this intake would be right in front of the CPU cooler, and it just gets exhausted. Somebody said to me once that this makes a difference. I got a lot of people on YouTube, some giant idiot, saying intake in the front. That's what Noctua recommended. I think it was you, owner, that told me that. Well, let's give it a go. I might spend the time tomorrow morning to flip this around and see if it makes a difference in CPU temps on Cinebench or something. That's how I usually always do it, some giant idiot. We're gonna try it. Which one of you are drop top intake? I mean, it is Friday night, so we're gonna give it a go. We're going to put an intake on the top, front. See what it does. Humans, intake in the front and exhaust in the rear, LOL. Yes. I know, that's typically how it's done. So do you, some Johnny idiot, are you going to force me to, or Steve? That was Steve, sorry. Yes, humans do that too. Some Johnny idiot, are you going to force me to change this fan? Or are you going to let me leave it and test it? I did put the bumpers on this side, though. Let's flip it around. Let's make some giant idiot happy tonight. I don't want him to go to bed smashing his head on the wall, knowing that this exists. I'll flip it around. I'll do some tests. I will try. I'll do it off stream so some giant idiot doesn't have a panic attack. That's my secret boss. I can only sleep after bashing my face in the wall. Hey, that's how I go to bed too. Can't sleep at night? Try that. I'll test off stream, don't worry, Onra. I know, I'll test it. I will test it, Onra, off stream. I will flip it around. And it will be our dirty little secret. The only thing good that it would be doing is drawing the cool air to this area where the CPU cooler is going to be. After that, it's just going to be drawing air out of the case away from the CPU cooler. Might have been better off just putting that one on the back, and then this 120 on the bottom. That probably would have been the optimal situation here. That 140 on the rear, this 120 on the bottom. All right, I think we're finally ready for a motherboard. Oh. If you want all three of those to remove the heat from the air cooler. I know you're a strong believer of the article. Ben, do you know what's the B550M board with the most USB ports in the rear? I want to say... I want to go with MSI. I want to say it was the... I want to say it was an MSI board, and I can't think of the name of it now. I don't think they make it anymore. But I'm pretty sure it was an MSI board. I'm running out of USBs. I have the MSI VDH Wi-Fi. It has to be micro ATX. Micro ATX limits everything then. We just not lined up. What is going on here? It was like a Pro Carbon or something like that. And I had a ton of them. Or it was a MSI creator board. Can't remember the name of it. I'm drawing a blank on it. But I'm pretty sure it was an MSI. He's talking about a B550. I didn't know he was talking about a micro ATX B550. Or he said that. He did say B550M. I don't know. Might need to change the ATX. Yeah, the only other thing you could do is buy a PCIe card with a controller on it. That's what I had to do with my B550. I ran out of USB ports on a B550 ATX board. Okay, the board is finally installed. We have our fans installed. Thank goodness. 2 hours later, we're making progress. Ugh. Oh, crap. Where did this come from? Alright, who let go of the fan extension? Of course, it's the one in the far back. One that's most difficult to get to. Probably should have put the ETS cables in too, but it's not going to be too bad. Okay. So, we're going to need extensions to get to that hub. Look close. Dang it. So I was 99% sure I had more extensions than I have, but apparently I'm out of those also. I've got 2 for sure. These are just PWM extensions. Let's see here, we got 2 here, 2 here. We technically didn't need this. I might actually remove it, because we have the hub. So, the that's enough. That one. Then send off of this. That's not. Three. Okay. I don't like how tight that is. We gotta have a longer one here. Notice these like to unplug. Well, run one of these. Oh yeah. The power supply mounting on this case, I forgot about that. Now your typical power supply mount. How does it go again? I forgot. I'll have to look at that in a minute. Alright, we got all our fans plugged in, so that's that. We do have to get this. We make a big piece. I know we did have a splitter here as well. I just wanted to utilize the hub. So I'll exchange mine for his. With the extensions. I spent way more money. Okay, and then USB-C and 3. He's there. The audio there. USB-C there. Front panel here. USB 2, I think, is here. Either there or here. Okay. There we go. Starting to look like a build. Holy smokes. That's a really nice case it is. Bro, that looks like my case. It's the Antec Flux Pro. I do know right where to put those cables. That's right. Joker, I think the Project Zero board I just got has like a 4. That seems like enough. I have the B650 Eagle AX in my build. Yeah, it's a nice build, a nice board to start with. PA120 cooling, a 5800X H7 Flow 3x140s from intake. 2 140 fans top mount. I can flip around to test. Please. Let me know what the results are. Hey, what's up, Bester? Long time no see, sir. It's been a while. Welcome back to the build show, sir. All right. So now that we've got all of those cables, front panel connectors plugged in, all the fans installed, plugged in, all we have left is a power supply and its cables, which I need to remember where this power supply actually goes. 99% sure it mounts weirdly over here, and this thing comes around and does some weird stuff and plugs into it here. I don't know why they did that. I guess it's easier to access the back of the power supply, which is kind of cool. So let's go ahead and put the power supply in the way they're intending us to do it and have that modular experience. Does that sound fun? Sounds fun. That would be why they did it. The modular experience. Let's see if it's worth it. If I start swearing, that means it's not worth it. For me, anyway. And again, the power supply we're using is a MSI MAG A1000G PCIe 5. So it's a 1000 watt 80 plus gold ATX 3.1 and PCIe 5.1 ready. Big power supply. So I think what they would like me to do here is install the power supply kind of like so, without though. Or maybe it does go back here. I don't know. And facing down though. I think this is the intent. Then we'll have the back of the power supply facing us, so we can plug everything in. There should be a minimal hot air sitting on the bottom of the case. Well, yeah, you also have these intake, these fans right here as intake, so it's going to draw any heat from the basement out. And it's pretty well ventilated on the bottom as well as the sides. So this whole side panel is ventilated. Yeah, pretty much, yeah, reduces a lot of heat there. So yeah, the intake from the bottom of the power supply will be down here, and then it exhausts out of here, out the side. These will grab any extra heat and it's going to pull it right through and just get cycled through the system. There's barely going to be any heat that comes from there. If that was your question, I hope that answers it. To know, the power supply being positioned like this is not going to create more heat for the system. It's the same design as if it were rotated the other way. Same exact design. It's just sideways. But this is the experience that they wanted. Now you have access to all of your ports right here versus on the inside, which I think is kind of cool, especially if you're into, you know, PC builds. This is something you enjoy doing. Fortunately, this hub cable, both the RGB sync cable and PWM connector, are just not long enough. Move it over here to this connector. RGB. Gonna drive me. Then we'll plug those back in when we flip it back around. But we'll flip it around, push our cables through our power supply cables. So we'll install our graphics card, get those two things plugged in, plug in our EPS cables, plug in our 24 pin, and then we'll flip it all around in our graphics card power. And then we'll plug it all into the power supply like it's meant to be. So it makes cable management easier. A lot easier. Alright, I cannot remember for the life of me if the Nitro Plus is a 3 or a 2 slot card. Pretty sure it's only a 2. We'll start with the 2. Come on. Apparently all 3 want to come out, but we're only doing the 2. Good. Alright, let's get that card. The Sapphire Nitro Plus 9070 XT. Bust this baby out. Let it out of its cage. Kind of thinking of the Linkin Park song. Oh yeah, 100% easier cable management for sure. Hey, there's a back plate. You mean there's some assembly required? It is a 3-slot card. Let the record be known. And in your accessories box, we get an RGB sync cable, which I will probably install, a 16-pin to 3 power connector, and then a GPU support bracket. Actually, I was thinking about that. Does this case come with one? Remember if this case came with a support bracket or not. So we might install a Lian Li support bracket here. But it is a 3-slot card, so we do have to remove one more. Actually, I was stupid and removed the bottom two. Looks like I knew it was coming. I knew it was happening. So what is this? Magnetic? Looks like there's magnets, which is super dope. That's cool. I do like that. And then you can remove that if you don't want the back plate. It's all metal. I think that's super cool. Alright, let's get our support bracket in, our Lian Li support bracket. I don't want the little peg stand thing. I would prefer to have the leak. One of these guys, they're about 12 bucks at Micro Center. Amazon, they're like 30. I always forget to put these in when I'm putting the motherboard in. Sometimes I know what I'm doing. Hey, what's up, Jackie? Welcome back to the Build Show. Very cool. That's a pretty cool card. All right. You know, with the color of the Nitro Plus, it almost would have been cooler to go with the gray fans. Go with the gray and a black theme. Motherboard has gray on it. The card has gray on it. Would have been cool. Now that I'm looking at all the components in person. Chunky boys need all the support they can get. Oh yeah. We don't want any sagging junk around here. We want a nice, firm, solid base. Support the weight and the size. I think I just felt my LTT store screwdriver slip. I think it just slipped a gear. Okay, so now that that's in place, we can tear this apart, do the peels, drop it in place. I don't get why. Oh, you know what? We also have that sync cable. Before we go any further, we gotta do this. Is our RGB and our power connectors right here. I didn't catch that. That is cool. Ah! Where'd the sync cable go? I know I pulled it out and set it down.
Hello?
About it. Sync cable and power cable. But I didn't know Nitro or Sapphire wanted to join the NVIDIA club with the 16-pin connector problem. That's what they did. You could also just install the Sapphire software and control it that way, but if I could get it to the motherboard and sync it all through one, it'll be a lot easier for him to control RGB on a mostly non-RGB build. We'll plug our cable in here. And then get our MSI cable here. Actually hope it's long enough. Gotta go all the way to the bottom of the case. And then put our back plate on. And then do our peels. And then you can put the card in. Yeah? I would say be careful when handling this card because that plate's magnetic and I just felt it slip on me. So be careful how you're handling it. And then we actually have a problem. The size of the GPU and the size of the cooler with the offset has made it that the GPU with the motherboard slot is literally right on top of the cooler. And it's not going to fit. Son of a beehive and a basket full of bumblebees. I didn't catch that. So I guess we are taking the offset off and pushing the cooler back up. The only thing I could do. Man, I wish I didn't zip tie these. Hey, just wanted to say I've been a lurker for a while. Love watching you build. Once my kids go back to campus for college in the fall, I'm finally going to grab one from you. Oh, nice. Been a console gamer for, but ready to make the jump to PC. Well, welcome to the build show. I am Bobby. Overlapping the PCIe slot. Bummer. Yes, it is with the offset. So we're kind of stuck taking the offset off. Thankfully, Noctua gives us the option to remove the offset, right? So, we're going to remove the offset. I don't know what else to do here. The main reason why it didn't work is because this particular Gigabyte motherboard has the slot all the way at the top. Typically, motherboards don't do that. They usually have it one, even sometimes two slots down. So usually, it's not a problem. I didn't even think of it, to be honest, with this board with the slot up, but now that I know, I'll never put this board with this cooler ever again. And also shame on me for not catching that earlier, right? Running out of places to put stuff as I take the computer apart that I've already put together. Damn it. That is not what I wanted. Yeah, I honestly did not think about this being a problem. Anybody else see that coming? I sure as shit didn't. Okay. I have a little bit more Noctua. Let me verify. Let's see. Before I put this on, what am I doing? I need to move the offset. Well, we were almost there. Almost had it done. Okay, now we put the thermal paste back on, put the cooler back on, put the fans back on, put the graphics card in. Oh, I hate these Noctua tubes. You push it and it's like, it just goes everywhere. Can't just do an easy spread. One time you're probably going to see me use one of these. Yes, I already cleaned it. If that was another brand of thermal paste, you would be cleaning it off and grabbing a different tube of paste, yes. Correct. I don't ever mix thermal paste. I hate doing it face down. I usually like doing it horizontal so that I can see it and then I can match it up perfectly. I hate doing it this way, putting these fans on. Okay, now the card could fit. Still on top of it. Actually, this screw is getting in my way. I do not like how thick this is. It is right on that cooler still. Close. It is right on top of that cooler. Like, I might just remove the back plate so there's better clearance. But it's on there. I don't even think we could go vertical if we wanted to go vertical here, because the cooler is so big. I don't think there's enough space for it. Yeah, I'm not going to pull the back plate out. I'd have to pull the GPU out in order to do that. Thankfully, there's a PCIe button on the side of the board here to release it, so if we ever need to get the card out, there's a little button over here to do that. So, but man, it is tight. There's not much I can do about this, guys. Just gonna have to go as is. There is nothing to do to change this. Just someone watching videos. I hope the PCIe release latch is easy to access. Yes, it's over here. It's down here next to the RAM. I thought of that before I locked it in. It's like, can I get the card out? Well, the good news is the card's not going anywhere. Or you know what? Let's get our 24 pin and our EPS in. You're going to have so much flow in that case. The temps should be great. Yeah, I think they'll be pretty good. What we're shooting for. I gotta stand this one up to do this. Kind of a tight fit. Okay. Here we go. This is what I was talking about when it came to the power supply facing this direction. Now that we're finally back to that moment. I didn't think that was going to be that big of an adventure, but there we are. I don't think that is this build, LOL. It is. Build number 75. No, this is 77. Porkish lore, I don't think that's correct. I don't know why it's pumping out the... No, that's correct. It's build number 77. I must have Noctua NHD... What? Something's fishy going on here. Porkish lore, it is. For some reason, the name's not right and the build number's not right. I'll have to fix that. That might have been me missing that, but it's Sang's build number 77, not number 75. So, the specs are correct. Those are correct. There's that. And then I want to run all of this. Oh, popped. Gosh darn it. Stay connected, sure. Oh, we popped. Gotta set a power connector. The hub. Oh, that is damn good looking. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Ben. Response is late due to our driving. No worries. You're all good. I didn't see your response if you did send it. I'm just enjoying myself building this PC. Probably enjoying myself a little bit too much. What do you guys think? Does that look clean? Or what? I wish all builds came together like this. Oh. Huh? Forgot I had my flashlight on in there. These guys like to come out of their section. Constantly dealing with the Noctua fan unplugging itself. Alright, that's good. I'm sure we're going to have at least one fan not plugged in because it came unplugged while I was cable managing somewhere. The like to come undone. We like to leave the chat, so to speak. Okay, and because what? 4 o'clock in the morning already? Probably just gonna do the one build tonight, guys. I'm exhausted. Found out the other build tomorrow at some point. Oh. Fairly convinced. Feel. Play with it later. Okay. Well, this was mostly Sang's choice. You vape, Ben? Oh yeah, I vape. You mean, if you build as many pieces as I build, you'd be vaping too. Finally, somebody's coming out with a 128 gig kit. Real question is will it work? Let's fire this bad boy up for the first time. Saying, I hope you're here. Hope you're ready. Yeah, the 9800X3D is a great CPU. This is build number 77 for saying. Yes, I'm here. All right. Let us know when you're ready to push this power button. Blind everybody. Fire it up. Let's see it. I'm waiting for saying. It says build. I am ready when you are, Ben. All right. 3, 2, 1. Please don't blow up. There's no RGB. This is a Noctua build. There's limited RGB in there. Try to give you some light. Let me get my sunglasses. It's sleek. Minimal RGB. We can shut that RGB off too, so once we get the software installed. And we do have a post. We're all clapping. Oh my gosh. All right, let's make a vote. Build number 2 or not to do build number 2 tonight. Build number 2 means it gives me the best chance of getting it shipped tomorrow, which I need it shipped tomorrow. Not doing the build means Ben gets sleep. And then he's more rested for tomorrow to tackle the build tomorrow. I mean, that's a positive, right? Austin says number 2. Build 2. We got 2 saying 2. I don't know if I could do it. I'm supposed to do it on the stream, but I might do it off stream if I don't do it tonight. Be at your best game is what I always say. Yeah, I'm pretty tired. Not gonna lie. It's probably why I haven't been talking much on the stream. I'm burnt. Leading into this this week burnt me out big time, and it's not even. We're not even at our campsite set up yet. So the option is get up early and build it tomorrow morning. Maybe do an early morning stream. I don't know what type of early birds we get. Doing like a 8 a.m. Eastern time stream. Is anybody gonna be still up? That's what are you going to at Xmas? I know. Well, usually I just stick with it and keep going and just keep burning the candle at both ends. And then by Christmas time, I'm just dead. December 23rd is usually my cutoff. Those are my last builds for the year, usually. And then I'm burnt out. I am so burnt out around that time. Like, I'm not at that burnt out level, but I have to do a ton of physical work tomorrow, which includes cleaning, doing the brakes on a 2013 Suburban. I got to do rotors and pads on the front and pads on the rear. Then I have to clean a 32-foot RV, the outside. I want it cleaned. It doesn't have to happen, but I want it cleaned because I clean it once a year, and I want to keep doing that because we've kept it nice. But 32 feet of vehicle to clean is a lot of work. And then I was going to also clean the Suburban as well, the outside exterior. Give it a wash since I'm power washing the RV. Then I had some weed whacking to do before I left here. And then I've got to, I think my little miss, one of my daughters, is going to go mow my grandpa's lawn because I was supposed to do that today. Didn't get to it, so I'm going to do it tomorrow. Got to finish, build and ship that other PC. I got to finish this one and get it ready for pickup for Sunday morning before we leave. Let's see. Got a bunch of RMAs that I wanted to get out as well. So I got to sit down and do those. Bunch of parts that need to be RMA'd, and I don't want them sitting for another 2 weeks. You know, by the time I get back, I'll be getting them back. Man, there's a laundry list of stuff I need to do before I need to leave. I haven't even packed. Supposed to do an oil change on the RV too, but I think I'll just do that while I'm up north. Just do the oil change up there because I can get underneath it. It's tall enough. I don't need a jack or ramps or anything like that. I should be able to just get underneath it. Oh man. Thinking all of that makes me tired. I'm just going to call it a night and do the build tomorrow morning. And I may or may not do it on stream. Yeah, Christmas time is when I burn myself to the ground. You guys will see a ton of builds around that time of the year. It always gets insane. It's a nice time of the year. It's great. It's fun. But man, am I burnt out at the end of it. Might need some help this year. Yeah, I've got a sledge. I'm not worried about that. Breaking those loose. Done it before. Hey, what's up, Kenneth? Welcome back to the build show, sir. Thanks for popping in. Give that man the PC he deserves. Just do it in the morning. Yeah, I'll do that. I think that's what I'll do. I'll just be getting in bed at... Well, maybe you can go to sleep with me. Building a PC. If that's something you're into. Make sure you got yourself a little sledgehammer for knocking those parts. Yeah, I've got the sledge. Sorry. Yeah, the 2013 Chevy Suburban, I know the rotors like to stick, so I've got a sludge. That's what I'm doing. We're calling it. No build number 2 tonight. I am sorry, Jeremy. I know you're maybe watching and waiting. But I'm going to pick up your build tomorrow morning and try to get that done and shipped. Hopefully, before UPS comes by tomorrow. They usually come around 1. So that would give me, if I started around 8, 9. And that would give me a few hours to get it going. Get it built and packaged. Built, prepped, packaged. Usually takes about 6 to 7 hours to do all that. In all reality. Because I do test. Benchmark as well. Hey, what's up, Burden? Better late than ever. Yeah, we were just wrapping up. Wrapping up. We're only going to do the 1 build tonight. We'll do build number 78 tomorrow sometime. Alright, guys. That's it for me. I'm tired. I'm just going to sit here and stare at you guys and probably pass out standing up. We'll see you guys tomorrow if I go live. If not, if I don't, then I'll see you in 2 weeks. Around the 13th. And we'll probably have a bunch of builds, hopefully. A bunch of builds lined up. So we can have like a massive build marathon when I get back. Hopefully that'll make up for the 2 weeks out. And if you're in the Discord channel and you want to hang out and chat with me while I'm on vacation, that would be the best way to do it, is in the Discord channel. If you want to join the Discord, if you haven't already, you can join by typing in !Discord in the chat. And that'll pop up the link. Thank you, some giant idiot. And then you can join the Discord and hang out with us. I might maybe do a call or two, or jump on a call in Discord and hang out there for a couple hours and, you know, maybe play some games while I'm out. I'll bring my laptop, have some fun. Thank you. All right, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you next time.